Welcome back. Well, as you can see, true to my word, I am going to show you my brush rollers. And I thought while we're doing that, since, there's not a lot to explain while you're setting your hair, we would talk about a couple of sort of intricacies of the YouTube world. And I thought we could start with comments. When you place a comment, what happens? Why does YouTube sequester some comments in a file for later review? What happens when your comments are inappropriate? In general, things you might like to know so that you can work to keep your comments from getting accidentally blocked. And of course, if they've been intentionally blocked, this might tell you why. All right, we will be back in a second. Okay, let's start with this large hat box. In this large hat box is my hair stuff, because my hair was not always short. For most of my life, it was very long. But I guess it was about 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago, my neighbor across the street had breast cancer. She went into chemotherapy. She lost most of her hair. What little she didn't lose, she just shaved off because it was better than the hard little patchy mess that was left. She's recovered. Everything is good. But when she lost all her hair, I went out and had my hair cut extremely short. I told her I thought she was very smart to get rid of all her hair. It was hot. It was summer. And I was so impressed with how cute hers looked, I needed to do mine too. So it was solidarity, basically. And then I discovered that it really was a lot easier to deal with. But since, as I mentioned yesterday, I was a good 3 weeks past my last haircut when we went into lockdown, I am now moving into the range of we're very close to 3 months without a haircut. So this has become intolerable. So I thought the first thing we would do is take a look at what is in the box. So let me start at the top. Perm rods. These are white perm rods, which is, well, they're not really white, as you can see. They are allegedly white. They started off white, but this shows you how old they are. Pink ones, again, perm rods. Perms were a big thing back in the 80s, and I think that's when I started acquiring those. These, which I think are probably also perm rods, but I'm not sure I've ever used them. And these, again, I think these are perm rods. I'm not sure I've ever used them. So, a whole bunch of perm rods. These are sponge rollers. They really don't belong in my box because I use these to set saran hair on baby dolls. It works very well. I'm not even sure I know how to use these on my own hair. I've never set my hair on rollers like this before. So I don't know if this is actually even going back in there. I'll probably put it in a doll box instead because, as I say, it's not something I use for myself. And then I have all this stuff. End papers, again, for perms, but end papers have an endless number of uses. And if you look at this, this is just some of my end papers. I use end papers in styling Barbie hair and fashion doll hair when the doll's head is like this big. Oh, end papers come in really handy. And now we've got this stuff, some little plastic bags. Pieces like this were my favorite when my hair was long, and I would just stick it up and bang, done, walk away. So I have a lot of little things like this and clips. And I saved them, even though, as I say, my hair has been short for at least 6 or 7 years. It's kind of foolish. I probably should have gotten rid of them. And these, I'll take some of these out. These are tiny little newborn baby hair clips, which are just the right size for my thin, fine hair. So I keep a whole bunch of these, and then, you know, if you want to stake orchids, they come in really handy too. But what we are going to take a look at today is this. Oh, let me turn it right side up. I've got my brush rollers in here. Gives you some idea of how old this cookie tin is. Definitely not new. And by the way, there are more end papers in here. So let's get started. I have not done this in years, but it's like riding a bike. I'm pretty sure it's going to come back to me. Now, there are a lot of ways to do this, and a hairdresser would tell you, oh, you've got to make parts and so on and so forth, and nah. Sponge rollers require parts. Brush rollers don't. They are very forgiving, and here is why. Inside this net, let me see if I can squish this. There we go. Here's a brush. Here's the casing. Shove that right in there. And there is a frame, a spring that provides the framework inside this roller. There we go. Now it's back. So this is spring. There is a little sort of nylon webbing and the brush. And the brush grabs all of the hair. You just sort of brush it through and roll. And this is so much easier than when my hair was long. You hold it in place with this. You just drive the pin through, done. Incredibly enough, and I know you're not going to believe me, well, some of you are going to believe me because some of you can do it too. I can sleep in these. That's what we used to do back in the day when I was in junior high school and high school, when we were setting our hair, you know, before we let it grow long and join the anti-war protest movements. This is what we did. And we all had Vidal Sassoon haircuts, and that was just, this was our lives. This is what we would do. You would go to grocery stores, and women would have their hair done up in these rollers, and sometimes they'd have a scarf or a kerchief over it. Sometimes they wouldn't. It was just, you know, rollers there for the whole world to see. You know, and you were tempted to just look at them and say, how many radio stations do you get with all that stuff in your hair? Nope, this was just our lives. And I'm sorry that rollers like this are no longer widely available, because since it's a brush roller, you get an incredible soft curl and a great set that you just can't get any other way. And in my opinion, now I'm sure a lot of this comes from the fact that these were the hairstyles of my childhood, So it's something I am used to and I feel comfortable with. But in my opinion, there is probably nothing that can compare to the kind of set you get from a brush roller. Now, for me, given the fact that my hair is thin and fine and incredibly short right now, I am probably going to be able to get through this very, very quickly, and probably using maybe half the rollers I have in here. And then, again, because it's short, it's thin, and it's fine, it's going to dry up super fast. Not in the time that it takes to do this video. I'm going to have to pause, let it dry, pull it out, and I'll show you what it looks like. But definitely in less than an hour. So while we finish this up, let's talk about YouTube comments. And the reason I'm talking about YouTube comments today is in the past 2 days, I have blocked more commenters, about 5 times more commenters than I blocked in my entire previous year on YouTube. So, and that's mostly because I don't like censorship. I figure if people want to have their say, the best thing to do is just let them have it. Even if you don't agree with them, even if you think, it's off the wall, off topic, whatever, let them say what they want to say. And, hopefully they will go somewhere else. This one is not holding in the back because the hair is so short. So I think we're going to need to do a couple of pins in that. So usually I don't have problems about this. I can tolerate a great deal in terms of, criticism and so on. In part, it's because I have a very healthy opinion of my own worth. Thank you very much. And I usually just shrug and say, well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Does this really make a difference to me and my life? No. But, I do have my limits. For example, there was a comment on a recent video about Audie. Oh, and yeah, you want to get blocked, you criticize my cat. Someone had written in to complain about how cats that go outside are decimating the bird population. And it's like, I don't even know where this is coming from, because yes, my Audie is a little hunter, but he doesn't kill birds. I don't actually think he likes birds very much. We have plenty of birds in the yard, and he doesn't go anywhere near them. Squirrels, he doesn't go anywhere near the squirrels either. He likes mice, rats, voles, moles, and rabbits. And he's even getting a little good-natured about the rabbits. He went out this morning, watched a rabbit for 10 minutes, and I kept saying, rabbit, run, run. No. The foolish rabbit just stayed there, but Audie just watched him. He did not go after him. He did not try to kill the little bunny. It was just, I don't know. Audie's getting old, I guess. Either that, or it's finally occurred to him, and high time, that he gets enough food in his dish. So why would he, by the way, that's all I needed. He gets enough food in his dish. So why does he need to go running after bunnies? It was wonderful. I felt it was a breakthrough moment. I petted him and made a big fuss over him. But then the woman is talking about the birds, and I was like, okay, my cat is a stray. Yes, he goes out, but thank you for your kind thoughts, but, take it elsewhere, because it's completely off topic. This is not a cat channel. Yes, there is a cat star, but it's not a cat channel. and it needs to go somewhere else. And she wouldn't let go. She had to come right back. And I'm thinking, lady, I gave you like 2 pages worth of time here. Because the post she did about the birds was just endless. Like, I gave you a soapbox. You need to say thank you and stop when I tell you to stop, because this channel is not a soapbox for other people's political views. I don't even use it as a soapbox for my political views. I got some crazy, fringy, far-out political views that I try to avoid sharing with people because, crazy, fringy, far-out, whatever. But, everybody's political views look crazy, fringy, and far-out when they're not your own political views. I just don't think that YouTube is the place for that stuff. So be that as it may. So that's how somebody gets blocked. But the reason I've been blocking so extensively lately is the video I made a couple of weeks ago about some drama in the thrifting community that hit YouTube. In the first 48 hours, I got something like 700, almost 800 comments on that video. I pretty much let everybody have their say. There were only maybe 2 that were sufficiently abusive, and I really expected, a lot of abuse. There were only 2 that were just so bad, and the bad wasn't even really directed at me. It was directed at the participants of the drama. Only 2 that were bad enough to pull. Well, it's still going on. And even though the whole point of that video was that we as creators have got to keep the drama off YouTube and keep the vitriol out of our comments. In other words, I should not be hosting comments critical of other YouTubers. And still people are like, I'm going to criticize other YouTubers on your channel. I'm like, no, you're not. So much to my regret, some of those comments were up there for some time because it's easy to hide your comments when you're not really making comments on your own byline, when you're responding to someone else's comments and it's buried, especially once I finally found the comments and it was over 800. That means going through. No, I'm sorry, it was over 900. Over 900 comments, line by line by line by line, which takes an enormous amount of time. But I did. And a lot of people got blocked. Now, blocked means they are never going to be commenting on any of my videos again. What I will say, in defense of my YouTube community, is none of these were regular participants in our channel. These were people who went onto that video specifically so they could take sides in that drama that I was trying to get people to move away from. It's like, how stupid are you? It's like I'm saying no more drama, and you're like, no, let's foster the drama. Good God. These were not our peeps. This was not our community. These were interlopers coming in to our community, spitting their venom. No. So, in the past couple of days, huge numbers of blocks. No regrets. These are people who never commented on any videos. They're not going to. They are one-trick ponies. They were probably partisans of the people who engaged in the drama, and they each wanted to support their own people. Not on my watch, babe. Go somewhere else. So, they're gone. But let me tell you how your comment can get blocked. And blocking is actually, unless I go in and block it, it gets sequestered. It gets thrown into a file, and I have to go in and pull it out. YouTube thinks that if you put a period between two letters. Doesn't matter if you just end your sentence and forget to put a space before you begin a new sentence. It's going to see, action, ACTION dot I will. No space, bang, out of, just sequestered. The reason why is they think it's a web address. So if you put a web address, an email address, or anything YouTube thinks might be, so it's letter, dot letter, it's going to get held. And then I have to go through and let it go. Bad language, and YouTube has a very weird idea of what bad language is. They have put stuff in, I don't even know which word they're objecting to, but none of them are objectionable. That's something that will get you sequestered too. I have a few words that will trigger a sequestration. And, George Carlin said it best. So those of you of my generation, do you remember George Carlin's list? Yep, that'll get you in trouble. And then I get them dumped. I don't automatically remove comments like that, because if we are talking about a litter of dogs, the word bitch is perfectly appropriate. If we are talking about a game of badminton, the word shuttlecock is going to be right in there, and everybody's going to be fine, and you can prick your finger with the needle, etc., etc. But I'm sure you can imagine those very same words in other contexts are going to get you bounced real fast. Because let's remember our littlest subscriber. So just in case you've forgotten, here's a picture of Evelyn. Okay, so you see why it's so important, because Evelyn is watching these videos, and Evelyn, she might not be old enough to read now, but she seems to me to be a pretty bright kid. Who knows when she's going to start, and I don't want her to have to go through that crap in the comments. I also get stuff that, the things that YouTube is legitimately trying to protect me from when they're trying to protect the site from inappropriate links or web addresses. Things like, hot babes shooting big guns. Oh yeah. And it's spamming. It's people will go on and they will put these links into their comments. So if you want to guarantee that your comment is going to get sequestered, and maybe I'll get around to taking a peek at it next month, depending on how many sequestered comments are in that files, throw in a link or throw in a web address. That'll do it. And if I don't know what the link is, even when I see it, if I don't know what the link is, I will get rid of it. If I don't know what the web address is, I will get rid of it. If I see your personal email, I will get rid of it, and that's to protect your privacy, because I don't want your email out there for anybody who wants to have it, use it, commit fraud using it. No, that's for your safety. That's going to be gone. So that's how the comments section works. I have the option to block a single comment or take a user right off. Ordinarily, the first infraction I'm going to assume is an accident, and I will just block the comment. We get into 2 or 3, you're not going to be commenting on the channel anymore. How do you know if you've been blocked? If you place a comment and your comment does not show up if your comment will show up if you're signed into your own account. But if you're not, if you go on a friend's account and your comment is not there, then yes, that probably means you are blocked. Just that simple. And keep in mind, I have some pretty straightforward criteria for blocking. Every channel creator is entitled to their own criteria. They can put things into their blocking filter list for whatever reason they want. If they don't want you to use the word turnip, they can throw it in. Your comments are going to get flagged. They can remove your comment. They can block you. This is just the way it is. I like to be fair about it. As I say, I don't mind people having their say. You know, you can absolutely have your say. But if I tell you you've said enough, you need to stop. Because if you don't, I will stop you. If you are spitting hate, I might not even give you a second chance. You know, if the comment is bad enough, I might just block you going in. I might not just, get rid of the comment. I'll just bounce you and you can just go somewhere else, because I have a community to protect. We've already seen little Evelyn, but there are a whole bunch of other people that watch this channel, that are free to watch this channel, and I'm protecting them. I am not standing up for the rights of trolls and haters. I am standing up for the rights of the average person who is watching these videos and responding to comments and reading through the comments for the purpose of entertainment or community outreach, or to get in touch with other people. And we have that a lot, because we have these wonderful creators who are providing giveaways. People want to get in touch with them. They're reading through comments. I do not want anybody to have to stagger through a series of comments full of four-letter words or vitriol and venom because somebody doesn't like something that happened on a web channel that has nothing to do with me. No. So no, this is a clean, quiet, drama-free, safe place. And I am committed to keeping it that way. So the easiest way for you to get blocked is violate those rules. And interestingly enough, I was really surprised that I ended up having to do this, because I had been so proud of the fact that it just wasn't happening here. And then that one Kill the Drama video, and like I say, I don't know, you say no more drama and people are like, drama, drama, drama. It's like an invitation to them to perpetuate the drama and continue the infighting. And it's kind of like, come on, children, let's just knock it off. So I thought we would talk about that, because a couple of people had written in and said there were bad comments. Okay, well, they're gone. Although the people who wrote in to say they're bad, these are bad comments, they are gone too. Because the only reason they wrote in to complain about the bad comments was to stir the pot. This is a drama-free zone. So no second chances for them either, especially right now when most of us have been on lockdown for, goodness, close to 2 months now. Our nerves are jangled. We don't need this. So I guess the bottom line is, if you don't want to play by the rules, fine, play somewhere else. So I did want you to know, though, how the system works, because a lot of you have had your comments sequestered for no better reason than a typographical error. You just didn't put a space after that period. And sometimes it's not even something you did, autocorrect did it for you, but that will sequester your comment. So what will end up happening is your comment won't show up. I have to go into the files, pull it out. And I don't do that every day. I will be honest with you. I know that makes me sound very, very lazy and inattentive, but usually, because I am doing videos every single day now, I'm keeping up on the current comments, and sometimes it'll be a week or even 2 before I go back to take a look at the sequestered comments. So we are hitting pretty much the end of our time right now, so I'm going to pause for a moment, check and see if this is dry. If it isn't, I'm going to let it dry. It'll only be a few minutes, and then I'll show you how it came out. Okay, so we are back, and now I'm going to start pulling this out. Now, if I had left this in, all day, or if I had slept in it, or, well, definitely if I had slept in it, or sat under a hairdryer for hours, this would come out much tighter. It would be the same curls, but they would be much more firm. But that's okay, because part of the fun, oh, and I can just pull these out without even taking the pins out of them, because, here you go. Brush roller, that's what this is all about. All right, so this is what it looks like. Frankly, I think it's not quite as obvious that this is a style that has been growing out for 3 months. It kind of looks more like maybe this is what I want it to look like. I have a feeling I'm going to spend the next few weeks setting my hair, because if I don't, it's just, well, you saw what it was looking like. It was getting really sad. Is this great? No, because it's not styled at all. It's not cut. It's just curled. Is it better? Oh, I think so. I think at least it looks like I haven't just fallen out of bed like this. And that is what I was starting to look like before. All right. Have a great day. I will see you all tomorrow. Dig out those brush rollers, those of you who have hair that's being difficult. But for those of you who don't have the brush rollers, this is why people do brush roller sets. You can't get this with other kinds of curlers. You just can't. It's why the brush rollers became popular in the first place. And I think the only reason they fell out of favor was because curling irons and blow dryers came along, made things easier. Maybe. But I don't know. We gave up a lot. All right. Dig out those brush rollers. I will see you all tomorrow.